Today is February 9th, 2025, and this is our weekly update on the ongoing war between Israel and its multiple enemies on various fronts around the Middle East. Shalom, my friends. This is Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Yesterday here in Israel was once again a very powerful and emotional and happy day, as well as a very intense and frightening day. Let me explain. Yesterday, we had the joy and the celebration of three more hostages being released from the brutal Hamas captivity in the Gaza Strip. Almost 500 days, three men spent in captivity in the hands of Hamas in horrendous and inhumane conditions. They returned home, and the first images that came through the media to Israel and the world, but mostly to Israel, sent shockwaves and horrifying reactions to what people saw. Of course, there was incredible joy and celebration, as we said, that they were finally being released, finally out of the hell that they experienced in the Gaza Strip. But these three men looked like Holocaust survivors. They looked gaunt, emaciated, and very, very intensely malnourished. It was a very scary moment for Israel to see what happened to them in their very, very long captivity. And again, while we were celebrating, it's so joyous to see the images too of them finally coming into the hands of the Israeli army and finally reuniting with their families after so long. Incredible joy, incredible celebration. At the same time, it makes us realize what exactly they're going through in that captivity, and those who are still there, what they continue to go through. So it was a very intense day, both in terms of joy and in terms of pain and horror. One of the hostages who was released didn't even know until he was released yesterday that his wife and two daughters were murdered on October 7th, 2023 by Hamas terrorists. So a lot to deal with. There's a long path and road of healing and recovery for them and for all the hostages that have been released and all the hostages that will be released. And Israel has vowed a harsh response to the fact that this is what the hostages look like once they were handed back into Israel. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what unfolds from here. There's 2 more weeks of this ceasefire and exchange of hostages for prisoners. Yesterday, about 200 Palestinian prisoners were released from Israeli jails and prisons, including 18 of them serving life sentences. Again, that's a very hard part of yesterday. Besides, and in addition to seeing the very, very intense images of the conditions of the state that the hostages are in, seeing 18 Palestinian terrorists go free yesterday in this exchange, very, very difficult for Israelis to accept and to stomach. But unfortunately, this right now is the only way to get back our hostages. There are talks what to do with the next stage as the next stage does come near. Those talks are unfolding now. Not many details, if any at all, are available, but once they are, we will be for sure. We will share those with you. In addition, there is continued and renewed fighting in southern Lebanon. Israel has struck multiple Hezbollah sites as they have violated the ceasefire, as they tried to smuggle in weapons once again into their positions in southern Lebanon. As a result, Israel has attacked them, destroying certain positions of theirs and killing and injuring Hezbollah terrorist operatives. The last thing I want to share with you for today is the unfolding plan of President Trump in terms of what to do with Gaza and what to do with Gazans. As we know, that Gaza simply is uninhabitable right now. As much as Hamas makes these shows and these plays when they release the hostages showing a display of great strength, it's not. They're very, very, very weak, and the world needs to understand that. This is part of their propaganda. This is part of the way that they work, even when weak, showing strength and doing all they can. The joke is that they're usually doing these releases surrounded by completely destroyed neighborhoods in the Gaza Strip. So, as we know, about 80% of Gaza is destroyed. And though Gazans have returned to their homes and their cities and their villages in recent days and weeks, there's nothing to return to. And like President Trump says, it's simply unlivable. And they need to be moved out so that Gaza can be rebuilt. So again, the terms of the plans, the ideas, the specifics are still being worked out. This is brand new, and this is completely new in terms of no one has ever come up with an idea like this before. Um, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that once Gaza is rebuilt and Gazans are able to return, they'll only be able to return if they disavow terrorism. Right? So this is a new chapter in the Middle East. It's a new chapter in the Israeli-Arab conflict. Most of Gaza is destroyed, and the people there simply can't live there. There's nowhere to live. There's no infrastructure. There's no facilities. The best thing for them is for them to leave, even temporarily, allow there to be rebuilding, but not only rebuilding of physical infrastructure, a rebuilding of the country. They're only allowing people to come back who will live in peace with Israel and next to Israel. We'll see what happens. This is a radical, radical deviation from everything that has been talked about before. And that's pretty much what needs to happen. Everything talked about before hasn't worked and has allowed for terrorism to continue. And Israel simply won't let that happen anymore. That's our update for today, my friends. Thank you again for your ongoing support, prayers, and thoughts for Israel, specifically the soldiers fighting in the front lines and the hostages who are still in Hamas captivity. We're praying for the return soon. Thank you so much. All the best and be well.